Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Redneck Ways. How's everybody out there, YouTube land? I hope everybody's set fine and dandy and not doing too awful bad, guys, here at old Kentucky. It's Friday evening. It is 15 after 6. And I hope all you guys are having a good week so far, weekend. Starting it out. I know I am. I'm resting. I was wore out, guys. It's been a long week. Tonight, guys, I thought that we would tinker around on this old vintage. I got vintage on the brain. This old flat screen TV that I took. Well, the TV's gone, but I took out one of its boards. This was the power supply, and believe it or not, in that whole TV, this is pretty much all the capacitors. There was hardly no capacitors in it or anything. It was kind of odd. But yeah, if you open up a big flat screen TV nowadays, there's not a whole awful lot of components inside of it. But I went ahead and I took out the power supply because it had the most. And I took the tweeters out, those little speakers. I kept those. But the rest of it was just garbage. Wasn't really nothing I could get to, recycle, maybe use here in the shop. So what I thought we'd do, guys, we just kind of take and look at this today. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pop a few of these capacitors out, check them. And I thought maybe, guys, we will take this little little thing here that checks your capacitors and your resistors and everything. And it'll tell you whatever this component is. And there's a few of components in this. I had no idea what they are. So I thought we'd just take some time, a little bit of time, and go ahead and take some of these parts out because I need them anyway. Hopefully a couple of these capacitors will work in this array I'm trying to recap. So if you like this sort of thing, come along with me and let's get this thing taken apart. Alright, guys, first thing I want to take out here is these big old capacitors. I don't know if I'll ever use them or not. And then we'll take up these toroids. I think that's what you call them, toroids. I like using sometimes those in my crystal radio. Sometimes it helps me pick up a signal a little bit better, sometimes. But yeah, I thought we'd start here and get this out. Now, guys, if any of you all go out, find one of these on the side of the road and bring it home and want to take the parts out and reuse them, remember, these caps can stay charged for a very long time. And this board can have a lot of juice still on it, even though it ain't been plugged up for days. These can still be charged and can give you, it can actually give you a lethal shock. I've been shocked bad. I learned the hard way. And it wasn't just a little tingle. These things hurt. And they could be deadly. So just letting you know up front on that. But yeah, we're going to try to take these out. These have been discharged. Everything's been discharged. So, and what I was saying, there's a few things on here, guys. I don't know exactly what they are. Probably take these heat sinks off. I don't know what I'll use it for. I've got all kinds of them. But I want to check these transistors and see if it's the type. Because I've been wanting to make a Tesla coil. And I just haven't found the right transistor yet. But we're going to check them out, see what those are. Hopefully this little microchip ain't broke. Somehow when I took this out, the board cracked on me. This thing is cheap, by the way. The first flat screen TV that I recycled, it was made pretty good. It was one of the first series, and the boards were pretty thick and stuff. And then I got to this one, and I thought where it was a Sony, it would be made well too, but it's not. This board is so easy to crack. I was trying to be easy getting this out, and it still broke on me right here on this corner. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. Maybe this micro chip's good. I don't know. Like I said, I cracked it, but it looks like all the legs are still on it. It don't look like it broke any little legs. So that might be something down the road I can use, and it's a Sony chip. So and here's another one. It's got the numbers beside them, but it don't really help till you look them up. So it's got some transistors here, which probably aren't really nothing important. Wherever these little transistors are, they've got a little slash, so that must be keep the heat off, because transistors do heat up pretty good, and that's why you got heat sinks. Which this is an odd heat sink. I would think these transistors would have been on something like this, but I don't know. And I say this is probably some kind of resistor on this heat sink. And then it's got a bunch of, well, right here is what I'm talking about. See how all these transistors are on this heat sink here? 3 of them. So it's probably got some pretty cool transistors in it. I'm hoping these capacitors are going to be big enough for me to get this old Stewart radio going. I'm trying to get some parts to recap this one and get it playing. So hopefully I can find something in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though. I'm going to have to just break down and order some. But anyway, this will be fun. This will be fun taking some of these out. And some of you guys that's never done this, maybe you can do this down the road on something that you're working on and you don't have the time to wait to get something in, and you can maybe find something around the house that's broken that you can take a component off of. So guys, what I usually do is I'll add a little solder to the old solder here, and a lot of times it makes it a lot easier to get it off. So let's do that. Let's add a little solder. And it looks like I've lost some. No, here it is. Okay. I think I should have everything over here I need. So I'm just going to add a little solder to each point here, which it may break down. I don't know. It wasn't a super old TV, like 2003, I think. Sony 2003. It was a nice TV. It just started having problems warming up. Once you got it warmed up, the owner said that it would work, but it would take it about 10 minutes to warm up completely. It does help to have a solder sucker too when you do this. I'm probably going to have to one day order me a new one. This one's getting pretty old. I don't know what kind of solder they use, but sometimes these are a bear to get out. Alright guys, yeah, this one, it was a booger. I had to actually take and pry gently while I held the soldering iron on, and it popped out. This one is 180 microfarads at 450 volts. I don't know if I'll be able to use that. 180, it's pretty upper. I need like a 12 microfarad at 600 volts, or at 400 volts, and a 20 microfarad at 600 volts. But we may find it's pretty heavy. Let's see if it's still good, because I did just heat it up. Alright guys, we got our leads. It says it's testing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if my battery's getting weak or what's going on. The capacitor, I don't got anything hooked to it. Let's see. Let's see what it does here. Testing. It's a capacitor 26.3. Is that what? And it's saying 26.34. I don't know where that's getting at. Let's try it reading one more time. The ESR is 7.0. Velocity loss equals 12.2. There it is, 162.2 microfarads. And it's at 180, so it's lost a little bit. It's at 162 microfarads. There's a little bit, there's still quite a bit of life in that. Let's get the next one. Let's try something different this time. This wire here had its own balun around it. Thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. It's got a balun on it. I guess it keep the that'll keep the RF from going back into it. I guess that's why they probably put it on. Guys, I was wondering what this one here was. I think it's a resistor. It's made out of porcelain or something. So I'm going to clip that and we'll check that real quick. Clip it. That one's an easy one to harvest. This is, it's a resistor. It's a 10.5 ohm resistor. It's hard to see that green lock. So that's a resistor. I'm afraid my leaves are going to touch on me here. Squeeze them right there. So next, guys, what I want to do is let's take out one of these green things. I think these are resistors too. Actually, I want to see what this is. See if that little machine will tell us what that is. So I'm just going to clip it right there on the bottom. Be the easiest way to get that out. And to still have enough leads if one day we need it. Excuse me. See what this is. Probably a resistor. It says 10 watt point. It might be a capacitor. It's thinking. Nope, it's a resistor. Let's try it again. Sometimes it gets a, saying it's an 8.67 ohm resistor. Let's try it again. Resistor 5.27. That's two different readings. It's made out of porcelain. It says 10 watt point 0.110J. It says resistor. I don't know. I don't know what I guess it's a resistor. It's made out of ceramic. So yeah, it probably is a resistor. Let's see what else we find. Let's take one of these. Let's take one of these transistors out and see what they are. Actually, I like to take this off this heat sink. If I can get this heat sink off. I think that's a big transistor. Let me work on getting the leads off from the bottom, and I will be back and we'll take that screw out and we'll test that, guys. Got one more to get off the, it should be clean, ready to come out. I had to add a little bit more solder. Some of them can be stubborn. The resistors don't like getting hot, real hot. Alright, they should be all cleared out. All we need a Phillips screwdriver to pop that off that heat sink. I might be able to get this in. I don't know what it is, but it's going to take components off of a circuit board. I don't know how I'm going to test this. I just got to think about that. We're going to have to get them hot. One thing about it, Sony put them in pretty good. Alright guys, this board's just falling apart. And that heat sink stuff is messy. I hope it ain't toxic. I'm just going to clip them right at the bottom, guys. It's really giving me problems. One there here. I can find it. Get in there. There we go. I got all the legs. So let's test it. I gotta wipe that thing off. It's got that stuff that keeps it cool. I've just been easy and trying to get that out, and the daggone thing just fell apart. There's the heat sink to it. So let's put that in the floor for a minute. Let me get a paper towel. Wipe this junk off my hands. Put that back on there. Put the heat sink back on it where it goes on the back. Stuff's messy. I don't know what it's made out of. Back on, and then put the screw back in it. We should be able to test it just like that. Get this stuff off. They usually say on it does, but I can't really read it. I'm going to have to get, so that's 4 leads. I'm going to have to put a couple more leads on my tester. Alright, let's see if this thing will configure what this is. Get everything hooked up. Nothing touching. Don't want anything touching. Bend that up if I can. I'm going to put a piece of paper in between those two so they don't touch. Nothing touching, nothing touching. Are we good down here? I think we're good, guys. Let's see what it says. Oh, unknown. Then we got it all hooked up. Yep, unknown. So, I guess I can change. Let's try it on the top. Alright, I changed it around. Let's see if it'll say anything up here on the top. Nope. It's not going to read that, guys. Not going to read that. I kind of thought it would. That's the first thing I found that it wouldn't read. Alright, let's try to take the transformer out. See if that works. I'm sure it does, but we'll give it a go. Alright guys, I am going to try to take this transformer out without damaging it. Got a lot of leads to get undone. I cleaned out my sucker thing. Look how big that piece of lead was, or solder. That's a big old piece. Got a couple more here to get. It should come off. It came off pretty clean. That one came real clean. I like when it all comes up at one time. Some of them get just a little bit left over, and that's what gives you the problem. It just don't want to come off. These two right here, all these are nice and clean. Those two give me problems. Let's see if it'll come off. It should. Should come right out. Those two did. What's breaking? This thing is so cheap, guys, I'm telling you. Where's that one? Now, got this one here. Take a little heat, it should come out there. Come on. I'm just held on by one stubborn pin. Okay. Let's hang up on something else down here. There she is, finally. We got it off. And it's not broke. So let's check that out, guys, and see if it's still good. See how this board's just falling apart on me? And I'm not putting no pressure on it. It's just falling apart. It's had, let's see what, 2 transformers. Has a little transformer here. Little transformer here. I want to test. Before we test that, guys, I want to test, see what these little green ones are. I think they're resistors. I'm just going to crack it off there. Maybe. Watch this be the toughest part of the board. There we go. Got parts flying. Let's see what this is, guys. I think it's a big resistor. Let's see. Cut my finger on something. Squirt a little alcohol in there. Always keep rubbing alcohol in the shop. Get the germs out. Alright, let's test this, guys. See what this is. No, it's a capacitor. Let's try it again. Sometimes it throws up some crazy readings. You gotta do it a couple times. Let's say it's a capacitor. Capacitor. The ESR is 7.6 ohms. It's 149 microfarads. V loss 1.0%. So yeah, those are capacitors. I thought they was resistors. I was wrong. This little thing is handy and I'll get out. Alright guys, I want to, before we call, we're going to check that, but before we call it quits, I want to check these. I want to check one of these transistors here. Or not transistors. Yeah, transistors. So, I only have 2 leads. We'll try this one right here. It's on this heat sink. We'll see what type of transistors in here. The leads are big enough I can just snip it right here. There we go. Get the heat sink stuff off of it. Alright, let's put it in the tester. She's in the tester. Alright. It's an N-E moss pack. My Lord, look at all this, what's going on in this, guys. You don't see it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. Let me see if I can get it in here. It's so hard to get it where y'all can see. There's all kinds of stuff going on in this transistor. It's a transistor that I am not familiar with because it's got an S, a G, and a D. I'm not used to those letters. But it's a MOSFET. So that made it a little bit better, didn't it? Now it went off that you can read it. All that going on in that transistor. These may come up be handy one day in our project. I don't know. Alright, let's check that capacitor. Let's see if it ohms out. Alright, let's see if I can get this broken. Let's see if these are any good or not. So far, there it is. It's good. This prong here, that's a good transformer. See if it does it on anything else here. It seems like it's just these two legs. This one, which is trying to come off of there, that leg and this one. So I guess these are the secondaries, but I would thought they would ohmed out. I don't know. Alright guys, I guess that'll about do it. I'm going to keep on doing this. I'm going to get a couple more of these I'm going to get this capacitor off of here, these bigger capacitors, and I'm going to go in here, probably get these and check the value of them, and if I need it, I'll take them out. But I just thought I would show you guys how you could recycle and refurbish old electronic components if you need them. I hope everybody's having a great Friday, and I hope you're all ready for the weekend and have a great weekend. I hope everybody's safe. Alright guys, until the next one, I'll see you right here at Redneck Ways. Bye guys. I gotta clean this shop up. It don't take long to make a mess, let me tell you.